Hey y'all, I'm here today to talk about Wake Up Dead Man. This is the latest installment in the Knives Out universe, possibly the final installment in the Knives Out universe, definitely the last one for Netflix. This one comes out December 12th on Netflix. It is currently in theaters in a limited capacity, so you can go try to check it out over Thanksgiving weekend if you're watching this over that time period. Otherwise, if you're watching this after this, it'll be on December 12th. This is the third entry. The first entry, Knives Out, which is my personal favorite, came out in 2019 and really blew me away. It's probably my favorite Rian Johnson film by far. And I know Brick and Looper and some people, The Last Jedi, are their favorites. But for me, Knives Out is just a gigantic, fun time that is just, I'm a sucker for a whodunit that's actually done proper. Um, so going into Glass Onion, which was 2022, it had the pandemic to worry about, so there was issues with story beats regarding the pandemic, which caused it to be a little irksome, in my opinion, because now you watch it today and you're like, oh yeah, this was filmed during the pandemic, they're wearing masks, and they have the whole solution. It's a weird movie. Glass Onion is bright, it's colorful, it's very different than Knives Out. The only, you know, good part of Glass Onion is Daniel Craig as Blanc, as Mignon Blanc, and it's just still, it's over the top, it's cheesy. Um, yeah, I think the first one is far superior than Glass Onion, and since 2022, I've only seen Glass Onion, I think, two other times because I watched it once, like immediately after seeing it in theaters when it hit Netflix, and then I watched it again maybe beginning of this year to prep for this film. And yeah, I'm once again underwhelmed by Glass Onion. So when you go into Wake Up Dead Man, you have a phenomenal first film, a lackluster second film, and then you see this film just from the poster that I have on screen. I mean, you can tell that it's going back to more of a gothic feel over the overly bright uh, fantasy world that the second one was in. So this one definitely captures the gothic feel that I wanted from the second film, and it brings it back to where I want it to be. So Daniel Craig tones it down from the second one, goes back to the way it was in the first one, his accent, and I think that he delivers a phenomenal performance as Benoit Blanc. And the mystery here is very unique. It's very different than the last two, which is very remarkable. You know, you got three mysteries in a row. Like, how are you going to differentiate? And I think they did an excellent job. I mean, you got an awesome cast here. You got Josh O'Connor, you got Mila Kunis, you got Kerry Washington, Jeremy Renner, you got Andrew Scott, you've got Kaylee Spaney, you got Josh Brolin, you've got Glenn Close, and you've got let's see, who else you got? Let's see, you got Daryl McCormick, and of course Thomas Hayden Church and Jeffrey Wright. So you have a very loaded cast here, and they all work really well together. Not all of them are in scenes at the same time together. There's like, for instance, Thomas Hayden Church is the groundskeeper, so he's in more scenes prominently off to himself, where he might be featured with Josh O'Connor's character, and then you got Glenn Close and Thomas Hayden Church character having kind of like a secret bond, and so you have stuff with them. But Thomas Hayden Church doesn't really have a lot of relations with the rest of the church group. Essentially, the plot of this film goes that Benoit Blanc returns for his most dangerous case yet, and I don't know if that's entirely true. I mean, the last two were just as dangerous for him, I would say. I mean, Michael Shannon wanted to kill him in the first film, and I would say everyone wanted to kill him in the second film. So I don't think people want to kill him anymore in this film. But yeah, definitely the member of the cast that is murdered here, which I'm not going to spoil. Definitely, I had a hint that it was going to happen, and then when it did happen, I think I was surprised how they did it, and I actually liked the way they did it, and it felt very obvious. But And I watched it with a group, and we paused it, and I kind of like asked the group. I was like, okay, now who do you think is going to be the killer? And so I went with my choice, and someone else agreed with me, and then there is really some other choices that were kind of like half, they weren't very like put into much thought, and me and my friend, we were correct. So it is relatively easy to figure out who the killer is, but it could have just been a good guess. It just felt like the right decision, and that's how it played out in the end. But I mean, the one thing you're going to get in this is you're going to get phenomenal performances from every single person on the cast, and some of them are very limited in their performances as far as their screen time, but every time they're on screen, they're fantastic. And I think that the church feel, the gothic feel, which I've said the word gothic multiple times this video, but it's very important to this film, and I think it's beautifully shot. The cinematography, I think, might one up the first film, but I don't believe so. The first film is just something else, and I need to go back to it. We're doing a podcast on it upcoming after Thanksgiving. If it's after Thanksgiving now, you can go check it out. Looking forward to recapturing the magic of Knives Out, the original, and talking about it with some of the Cinefight cast. But yeah, I do think for a 2 hour and 24-minute movie, this movie does go by extremely quick, and that's something to say. I think a lot of movies these days are overly long, but I do think this is very well paced. I think it definitely gives a good amount of consideration to the cast as a whole. However, I do feel like there's not really a ton of outstanding moments in this that go to Blanc's character, Daniel Craig's character. I think that he's around quite a chunk of the movie, but I feel like he doesn't have as much fun dialogue. I mean, there is comedic beats, there is fun energy coming out of his character, especially with kind of the gloom of everybody else on the cast. But it just, in comparison to the over-the-top comedic beats of the second film, and then I think even his timing in the first film, I think, is far better than this one. I think he's more there observing, but I think Craig is just a phenomenal actor, and outside of the role Bond, which I love him as Bond, but he clearly is just enjoying his acting these days, and I'm glad that for him. Yeah, I think if Rian Johnson ends it here, I think this is a great way to end it. I mean, it doesn't like end the Benoit Blanc story. I mean, it could keep going and going and going, but as both Daniel Craig and Rian Johnson have stated, they don't want to milk this franchise. They want to do what they want to do with it, and they want to actually not waste their time when they're making these. They want them to actually have a purpose, and I admire that, because definitely the second one was a misstep. I do think with this third one coming out, and I'm a big physical media person. I have physical media behind me. I have physical media on the other side of the screen and downstairs. I really do hope, because I have Knives Out on 4K, I'm hoping that Netflix will eventually, I know they do this to some creatives, once it loses a bit of steam, they'll sell the rights back to the creatives to give to a niche studio, such as like Shout Factory or Kino Lorber or something like that, to make a physical release. And I do hope they do that, because I would like to have the whole trilogy on a 4K UHD. But on this topic of Wake Up Dead Man, I think the mystery is pretty valid. I think that it's easy enough to solve, but it's a fun time all around. I do think that the runtime might, irk some people because it is long, but I think it flowed by extremely fast. You got your usual Rian Johnson cameos. You got Joseph Gordon-Levitt here, but make sure to keep an ear out. And yeah, I mean, if you like the Knives Out franchise, you like whodunits, I really think this is just an enjoyable time from start to finish. And there's really no reason not to check it out, because it just is honestly one of the best whodunits in quite a long time. So I think that's really it without going into any kind of spoilers. I think there's a few issues I have with the film, but they all rely on the spoilers of the film. And one of them is something being in one of the characters' possession in a basement that I texted someone, and I was like, they just have that in their basement, and they responded, it's like, you don't have that in your basement? Like, kind of jokingly, and that's just very valid. So I think this really does it for our review. or my review for Wake Up Dead Man. This is a Knives Out story or tale. I think, what are they calling it? A Knives Out mystery. That makes sense. But I think Rian Johnson hates that. So it's just called Wake Up Dead Man, which is, as I said, the third entry, the final entry as of now. Possibly forever, but definitely on Netflix. So yeah, just go and check it out. Enjoy the mystery, and hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did, because I thought it was a blast. And some of the actors that I'm less familiar with, or I actually don't care for very much outside of this film, I thought actually gave a great performance. So I'll end it there, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to comment your opinion on the third Knives Out, how you would rank the Knives Out franchise. I clearly told you I think very much that the first one is my favorite, and then this one, and then the second one is far down the road, but I'd still watch it. So just for Daniel Craig's performance. So hope you guys have a phenomenal day, and I'll see you guys around.